Okay everybody, we're back at the Kawasaki Voyager again. I've had a couple questions, well several questions about why not to upgrade the speakers, why I haven't done it yet. Instead of the 5 1/4s, why I haven't put 6 1/2s or something different in there. Me personally, I like the factory look on the front of the bike. I don't listen to the radio enough. I'm in town a lot riding. I'm never over 45, 55 miles an hour unless I'm out on the highway just jumping from place to place. So most of my stuff is done in town, so I don't really need a whole lot of sound. I'm not the kind of guy going down the road blasting it so everyone in the neighborhood hears me. And also when I ride with my wife, we got helmets on and intercom system built into it. So basically we listen to the same thing and talk back and forth. So I don't need a lot of really big booming system. I ran to Walmart today, picked up a pair of speakers. Just got a set of Pioneers. As you can see, they're in there. They don't look super bad, but they definitely don't fit the way the other ones did. This video is basically me installing them, trying to fabricate them, getting them to fit in place. You'll be able to see the difference between the 5 1/4s and the 6 1/2s as far as size goes. By doing this now, you're going to lose the cone on the back. The cones aren't in there anymore that the speaker sits in, which means you're going to lose some of your bass. The size of the speaker may make up for it. It's going to rain today, tomorrow, the next day. So until I get out on the road and ride it, I won't be able to tell you the difference. Now the speakers I got were a Pioneer TS600M. That's all Walmart had on the shelf today for 6 1/2. I would not recommend. Now just to show the difference, the one on the right is my Polks. That's what I have in there right now. That's a 5 1/4 speaker. The left side is just a Pioneer 6 1/2 inch speaker. So as you can see by the physical size, there's definitely a difference in the two of them. If I take this speaker and even try to fit it, it's not even close. Again, you would have to really modify this or cut it to pieces to even get a 6 1/2 inch speaker to fit in there. So what I'm considering doing is mounting it to the inside. So if I can find a way to mount this bracket back here, you're definitely going to have to modify it in a way to get the speaker in place. But if you could mount it back there, you could still cover the face of it up and it would still look right from the inside. The only problem is on the back side, you're going to lose your baffle, which means you're going to lose some bass on it. Okay, so the next thing you're going to run into is this part right here. This is where the fairing bolt is, or the cowl bolt is. So you can't just put this in the back of it and put it there because now your cowl bolt's being blocked. So this speaker would have to offset in towards the middle of the bike, which of course is going to hit on the outside, your cone's going to hit. So the only way to do this is going to be to find some way to mount it to where it sits angled outward like that. Because if you go too deep, you're going to hit the cowl. If you go out this way, you're going to hit the cowl. You can modify the edge of the speaker a little bit, but not enough to get it around that to where you could actually just put the screws in it and hold it in place. Okay, the speakers I grabbed were Pioneers, just a set of cheap Walmart Pioneers, 49 bucks, just so I can see if I can make them fit. The Pioneer comes with this little ring, which is like an adapter ring for multiple things. I found a way to wiggle it in here. If I use one of the screws for the original speaker, and this is actually the drill screw mount from the outside, if I change that bolt to a smaller bolt, I can actually get this in here. I'm going to drill a small hole right here so I can use a third screw to hold this in place. So once I get a little more stability down here at the bottom with one more screw, the speaker will actually mount from the back. That'll give me enough room to clear my fairing or my cowl over here, and I'll have plenty of room up here for my fog lights. Now the thing that's going to happen is I'm going to lose my bass because I don't have any cone behind it, but hopefully the size of the speaker will make up for it. And I'll keep trying to modify and find a way to make a cone for the back to actually close in that woofer. Now from the front you can see obviously it doesn't match up at all. But it's clear where the woofer won't hit anything, so the woofer actually pushed forward and backwards without rubbing anything. So the sound should still come through that little hole. Then you can see where I used the front bolt for the plastic cover. The bottom hole should be plenty. You only need one bolt to hold that on, because it catches under the side. And then like I said, my screws are sticking through the front, so I'll have to get some shorter screws or put some washers on the back of them to keep them from pushing out. Okay, so there it is mounted. Just did the 4 screws that come with it. It's in there good. Once you tighten up the fairing, all this will quit moving. I've got a little bit of play in the bottom here still. I did not drill this hole. I was going to try to get away without it. I'm going to have to find a way to tighten that up a little bit at the bottom. And this little tab here, I'm going to take my angle grinder or something and cut this off. And that'll just give me a little more clearance in there once that's on there. And again in here, like I said, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but once your cover goes on it, you'll never know the difference. You'll never know that was in there. Okay, this side I went ahead and drilled this extra hole right here in this frame. So basically I've got support all the way around now. Again, I'm gonna have to cut this little tab off here because I think it's gonna hit the outside of the cowl when I go to put it on. So when I line the speaker up, it looks like the cone, it may touch just a little bit with that screw head. So I'm gonna try to take the screw out and actually anchor the speaker with that. Now I did take out the screw insert down below. I left the one up top because it actually makes a nice little buffer to keep it from hitting it. It kind of leveled it out, so I left that one in there. I'll take this one back out most of the way. I'll try to drop my speaker in behind that, which worked out perfectly. Find the holes that line up to my framing. So nothing else is going to line up, but that's all right because it's just plastic. I'll turn my speaker wires to where they're out of my way. Make sure I line that up inside good. I'm going to snug that back up. Then I'm just going to take the screws and tap new screws in over here. All right, I changed my mind. I pulled the bolt that was holding the grill on out. I ran one screw into here through the speaker hole. I came back on the face of it and I just used the holes over there and screwed them right into the plastic. So I used this one, and this one from the face. Now on the back, I'm much more stable than I was to start with. So I'm going to leave it that way instead of the other way. Now, when I run my bolt through the face, I got to make sure that I don't hit right here and push the grill out, so I may have to get a Lowe's somewhere and buy a shorter bolt, but if that's the worst thing that happens, we're doing good. So my other ones, I've just got the screws that come with the speakers. A washer, I'll line them up and not over tighten them, just snug them up. And one more at the bottom. And from the sounds of that side, I'm not going to be testing this out today, but the next place I got a good anchor points right here. Sorry if I just had my big head in the way. So that's not going anywhere on that side. So I'm going to go back to the other side. Drill me I just did a 1/4 inch hole through the housing and tighten the bolt up into it. Got my little multi-tool. If you still feel safer, you can take that off the bike, because if you do slip, you're going to knock a hole in your bike. So I've got rid of that ear, so that'll give me plenty of clearance on this side now. Back to my other side. This one's down a little bit lower. It gives me clearance on that side. Back to my wiring. Wire. Little wire. That's our YouTube approved music again. That's definitely an improvement. Now, I'm not sure how well this audio is going to turn out, but if you can hear, you can definitely hear from here. If there's no cone or box behind that, the reason I put boxes behind it is to get your bass out of it. Once I put the cowl back on though, the cowl actually may create a big giant box. It should sound a little bit better. But if there was a way to get independent boxes on those, I'm going to keep on looking and see. But for right now, that's the easiest solution. So by taking the bolts out from behind where I was using these, and just screwing through the face of it, I'm actually able to get both my bolts back in here now. I'm gonna have to go to Lowe's or a bike shop or something and get one that's a little bit shorter than this one, so I don't push that speaker frame out. So again, what I did is I took the screws, I anchored one from behind because there's enough room on this side for it to clear because of the way it's bubbled in, and then I took the screws and shot them through the existing screw holes into the bracket that came with the speaker, and then mounted the speaker to the back of it. And again, the finished look, not super bad. So it'll look a lot better with a cowl on it because again, you'll lose the gap in the front. And again, the speaker is just a Walmart Pioneer TS600M 6.5 inch speaker. Again, I've got no amp on here. As you can see, I took the amp back off. The amp just didn't work for me with the smaller speakers, and I think even with the 6.5s, it's not enough. I've still got the amp, I've still got the mount up there. It just didn't work for me. So if I ever put some 6x9s, or if I ever take the trunk and mod it, because I don't really use the trunk for anything, I was thinking about putting a 6x9 back there, a couple 6x9s back there. I may end up putting the amp back on it, but for right now, no amp, just 6.5s in the front now and 5.25 in the rear. And that's what it'll look like with the cover on it. I've just got a little gap in there. Of course, the light you can see through there is because I don't have the cowl on it yet. So if you're just looking at the bike, if you just walk by the bike, nobody besides you is going to know that those are in there. And again, once the cowl's on there, you're not going to be able to see the air through it, so it may look a good bit different. Raining and thunderstorms here for the next couple of days, so I won't get a chance to take it out and ride it. As soon as I do, I'll give you an update and let you know how they sound on the road. But for right now, sound pretty good. I'm sure that other speakers have some universal brackets like those, but like I said, that Pioneer had that universal mounting tab, and I just happened to make it work. And that was putting 6.5 inch speakers on the Kawasaki Voyager. Questions, comments, please put them down below. I'm okay for positive and negative criticism. If you see something I did wrong, the only way for me to get better is someone to tell me. If you got a better way of doing it, let me know. And if you got any ideas of how to do it better, let me know that also. I might try it out, or I'll pull it apart and I'll try it a different way. Back to the audio library from YouTube. I've got the front set to +1, the rear set to basically -1. So I got more balance shifted to the front since they're a little bit bigger. Again, this music is not all I listen to, so. Alright, everything besides the bottom pieces are back on. That's what it looks like finished. So if you look down in there, you can see the speakers are not lined up where they're supposed to be. Again, I'm going to have to get it out and ride it a little bit to see what it actually sounds like. It sounds pretty good in the garage. I'm still probably going to pull this back off sooner or later. Try to find a way to get some sort of cone on the back of it, or some sort of a box on the back. I grabbed some plywood, try to make a regular speaker box, stuff like that, but it's definitely not going to fit underneath that cowl. It's going to need some custom fabrication of some sort. But either way, I'll do a follow-up in a couple weeks once I get a chance to ride it and let you know how it sounds. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope that helps you get the speakers in place, or if nothing else, it'll give you an idea. If you find a better way of doing it, let me know. If you haven't already, click the like button and subscribe.